The third item needing consideration today is approving a resolution to adopt a supplemental budget to defray expenses, to authorize additional financing sources, and authorize budgetary transfers between funds and between spending agencies within a fund for Mesa County, Colorado. We do have Diane here to present today, our budget manager. Good morning, Diane.
Good morning. Diane Juakoski, County Budget Manager. For you today, I have the fourth quarter supplemental for our county budget. And then I'll also have another resolution to update our authorized staffing level. For this first slide, I have a roll-up of what the amendments look like for the budget. For our general fund, we are adding almost $2 million in revenues, and the majority of this is going to be additional grant revenues or other sources of funding that our departments have brought in since the supplemental we did in June. And I'm going to highlight some of those on some of our following slides, but that's a big portion of the updates to the budget today. And then we also have the reciprocal expenditures that go along with those grant revenues and appropriating those so they can be spent in 2024. And as you can see, we're also having a benefit to fund balance in this amendment. And the reasoning for that is the use of federal revenue replacement funds to sort of offset some of the general fund expenditures in 2024. Specifically, we're using those funds for the grants that we provide to our partners in the community. In total, we're adding 4.1 million in revenues to all funds. And again, majority of that is going to be those grant revenues that our departments are bringing in. We're adding a total of $4.5 million in expenditures. And as you can see, in total, we're drawing down the fund balance by about $323,000. And the main driver behind this is going to be an increased transfer to our public health department in the amount of $800,000. And we're actually transferring that from our economic development fund, those federal revenue replacement funds. Those are in fund balance. So we're using that to transfer to our public health department and to ensure that they end the year in good standing in terms of fund balance. And then I did want to mention that another item that we're adding, which is a $152,000 hit to the general fund, is going to be an increase for legal expenses that happened in 2024 that were unexpected when we did the budget. And so just a high level overview of some of the grants and other revenues that we're adding to the general fund. Our RTPO department had some increase in federal funding, more than anticipated in the original budget. And so they used that to offset some of their transit startup costs, as well as some of the revenue that they lost during the free fare period. Our sheriff's office is bringing in about $500,000 in additional revenues, Battle West, Safer Streets, several JAG grants, as well as the Colburn contract that we added earlier this year. They're going to be adding that revenue and the expenditures associated with that in the supplemental. Our clerk's office had some additional grants the last half of the year, as well as our behavioral health department saw an increase in their federal grant funding, which went to offset some of their personnel costs. And then our district attorney's office and our criminal justice services departments had some additional grant funding that they're going to be appropriating for the end of the year. And then for all of our other funds, our Department of Human Services had an increase in their federal grant funding that went to offset some of their personnel costs throughout the year. And our public health department had some additional grant funding that came in the latter half of the year. We also saw higher collections for our public safety sales tax. And so we are appropriating that for some overtime for the sheriff's office. And before I move on, the next slide is about the next resolution. So do you have any questions about any of these additions that we have?
I don't have any questions. Thank you.
Does anyone in the public have any comments or questions on this item? Okay. Well, seeing none, I'll bring it back to the board for discussion. Do you guys have any discussion on this? Okay. So seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve the item as entered into the record.
Second.
So move second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. And we do have our fourth item, which needing consideration today is approving a resolution to amend and authorize staffing level for Mesa County, Colorado. And we do have Diane again to present.
Diane
Thanks, Diane.
Giacoski, County Budget Manager. So in total, we're adding 3 FTE to the budget for the remainder of the year. As I mentioned, 2 FTEs are going to be for the sheriff's office, and that is funded through that Colburn contract. And those will be dedicated deputies to service the town of Colburn. And then in addition, we're adding 1 FTE in our finance department for payroll specialists. This is adding the FTE, but no additional funding because they are supporting this position through vacancy savings that they have in the finance department.
Thank you, Diane. Commissioners, do you have any comments or questions?
I don't.
Okay. Is there anyone in the public that has comments or questions on this item? Okay, I'll bring it back to the board for any discussion. Is there any discussion?
No.
Okay, great. Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve the item as entered into the record.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries.